We are back here behind the concourse, behind home plate, and we are joined by a very, very special guest. 77 total championships as a professional wrestler, including a 6-time Intercontinental Champion in the WWF. Jeff Jarrett joins us here on Wrestling Night. Welcome to the ballpark.
Jason, I don't know if 77 does me justice. I think it makes me feel old. No.
Well, we're glad that you're here. First of all, you've been in wrestling pretty much your entire adult life. When did you start?
Actually, my family's been in it for over 70 years. My grandmother didn't wrestle, but she did everything but wrestle. She promoted and worked her way up to what you'd call a CFO nowadays, and then my dad got in, and he wrestled and promoted, and then I sort of followed in the family tradition. So I've been around it since I was a little kid, but I actively started wrestling in April of '86. So what is that, 3 months ago, I celebrated my 30th anniversary. So I've been very fortunate because to this day, before I was a promoter and before I was a wrestler, I was a wrestling fan, and I still am a huge wrestling fan today.
Now, you went from being a wrestler to the promotion business. You started TNA with your father, and then you started Global Force Wrestling a couple of years ago, and Global Force Wrestling, of course, coming to Rent One Park in July. Natural choice for you, seemingly, to transition from the ring into the promotion side, right?
I believe so, because like I said, my grandmother, she got into the promotion side and did a little bit of everything. And when I was a young kid, I would go to high school gyms, armories, everything in between, and do anything from help set up the ring to sell tickets to concessions, a little bit of everything on the promotion side. And then as the years have rolled by and working for the WWF and WCW, obviously getting into our industry, it's, since cable television came along, it's really exploded from the television side of things and now the streaming side of things. And minor league baseball knows that also well, just the ability to connect with your fans on a digital space. So yeah, it's natural, and at Global Force, we literally named the company April of 2014, and then we rode along and put the pieces of the puzzle together. Last year, the Grand Slam Tour was our first year. We did, I think, 21 ballparks from Richmond to Harrisburg to Erie, Tennessee, Mississippi, all over the place. And Iowa, we had a great run. So it's a lot of fun. So we're very excited to be coming here. I wrestled here, and we ran a couple of shows here a couple of years ago. But for Global Force to be coming here, wrapped around July 4th weekend, is what makes it, in my opinion, really special. We're going to have fireworks. And if you haven't been to a wrestling event under the stars, it's a unique event, and put it on top with fireworks and bring the whole family out. It's going to be a great Friday night.
We'll get back to the event on July 1st in just a second. You, as a wrestler, you faced some of the big names of all time in professional wrestling: Randy Savage, Bret Hart, Ric Flair, Diamond Dallas Page, Kurt Angle, just to name a few. What was the toughest match that you had in your career?
Oh wow! And I like to let you journalists and critics determine that. But no, I've had series of matches. If you're a longtime wrestling fan, series of matches against the Moondogs way back. But as of late, Kurt Angle and myself had a series of matches that really, at the stage of the career that I was at and went through those matches, those were tough, very, very physically draining, but something I'm proud of today. But no, I'd probably have to put those series of matches right up there at the top as far as being the toughest.
How about your favorites that you had all time?
Early in my career, Jerry Lawler and Kurt Hennig and guys like that. Probably one that stands out that probably gets a lot of Twitter love and social media love. I had a series of matches against Shawn Michaels that still to this day gets talked about a lot, and it's some of my favorite.
Now, if you had to set up a match with anybody from the sports history, from any time in wrestling, who would you most like to face as a dream matchup for you?
Wow. You'd probably have to go back in time and in a completely different era. But Gorgeous George was such a household name, and he brought something completely different to the table. In a way, he put wrestling on the television map because he was so unique. And when he came into town, I don't want to say just came to the show. When he came into town, the whole world knew about it. Obviously, it was a different time, different day and age. But and I've heard stories through the years about the crowds that he drew and just everything that came along with being on a Gorgeous George card. I think that'd be unique. And I've been on a lot of cards with in the last 40 years, any household name, I've at least been on the card with him, but never with Gorgeous George.
Well, that would be a great matchup. Now back to the event at Rent One Park, July 1st. Miners will be on the road, but there'll be obviously a great night for wrestling here at Rent One Park, back here at Rent One Park for the first time in a couple of years, as you mentioned. What can fans expect to see when they come here on July 1st?
You know, I'm glad they're on the road because that really has given us an opportunity. And since day one, the Miners organization and Global Force, it's been such a seamless, I don't even want to call it a business deal because it's like it was meant to be. Everything lined up very, very well. The card lined up. Kevin Nash, a close friend of mine, but also obviously a legend in this business. When I talked to him about it, discussed about it, and told him about not just the fireworks, but the weekend and everything that went into it, he's like, sign me up. I want to be there. And from top to bottom, Colt Cabana, Sanjay Dutt, just the entire card we have is really special. But to me, when Global Force comes into town, especially on the Grand Slam Tour, one thing that we pride ourselves on is the VIP experience. You come in, you don't just get the first opportunity at the best merchandise. You literally have, and it's not just an autograph and hush you through the line. It's a one-on-one opportunity. We do a lot of informal Q&As and have a guy that basically hosts the Q&A. So it's a special night. It's very, very fan interactive, and it's something that obviously at Minor League Baseball you guys do, and at Global Force we do. We make it family friendly, and we make it fan interactive.
There you go. Now, speaking of Minor League Baseball, you're a baseball fan?
You know what? I got to be honest. Growing up, I didn't play baseball. But over the years, I've become that, and good friends of mine, Mike Tanay, you might remember that name. He's an announcer. His last stop was at TNA and Don West, and he's moved out west. But both of those guys, they're not baseball fans, they're baseball historians. So they've educated me on they call it a science. So no, I've grown to not like the sport, just almost more than that, respect it and everything that goes into it. And what, on the minor league level, the travel is such a grind, and it's something that I can relate to in professional wrestling. I got a lot of respect for the guys that come into the league, and I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt University has had a lot of success lately, and Coach Tim Corbin, and talking to the guys that come into his program, and then, they're as they get into the minor league system and the grind it is to get to the major league level, and then when you get there, 162 games, that means 81 of them are on the road. That's a real grind. So I've got a ton of respect for baseball players.
Well, hopefully you enjoy the game tonight. The Miners going for the sweep against the Florence Freedom, going for the 3 count. If I can use a wrestling term. Thanks for joining us here on the pregame show, Jeff, and good luck with the events here at Rent One Park on July 1st, and enjoy the baseball game.
Appreciate it, Jason. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to People's National Bank, Big John. Now, Big John, we know you've been a People's National Bank customer for years, but I bet you didn't know about the newest addition to the People's National Bank accounts.
It's called Cha-Ching Checking. It's a free checking account with rewards. You can earn rewards or interest, and there are no monthly service fees and no minimum balance to earn rewards. Would you like to sign up?
You would? And I see you've brought your friends to sign up too.
Bring your friends to sign up for a Cha-Ching checking account, free checking with rewards at People's National Bank, and see what family-owned banking is all about.